"Thank God for the French army," cried Winston Churchill before the Commons on the 23rd of March 1933. It was 2 months after the coming to power of Hitler. Few statements by Churchill outraged even Tory opinion more than this one. All round the House he observed looks of pain and aversion. For it was also the year in which, having reduced her own arms expenditure to its all-time low for the interwar period, Britain was urging France to follow suit. Preoccupied with the row over Larwood's bodyline bowling in the Test match against the Australians, the yo-yo craze, trunk murders, and the amorous successes of the rector of Stewkey, Britain had assumed a progressively detached attitude towards Europe's problems. Note: throughout most of 1932, the middle-aged rector of Stiffkey, pronounced Stewkey locally, had provided the British press with an unending source of anti-clerical entertainment through his escapades with battalions of teenage waitresses in London tea shops. Defrocked, he ended his career in a lion's cage in 1937, where he was billed to give a lecture. The lion objected. The emotional view of the Great War as a glorious crusade had been widely replaced by the doubts voiced by Lloyd George when he declared, "We all blundered into war," and France's role in leading Britain into this supreme blunder seemed to be illuminated with ever-increasing clarity. British public opinion, shocked at accounts by the spenders and issuewoods of starving, ricket-ridden children growing up in a Germany apparently broken by France's avarice for reparations, had, unlike the French, ceased to regard Germans as the eternal enemy. Note: the inverted attitudes of post-1945 make an interesting comparison. By and large, it had lapsed back into that normal, healthy Anglo-Saxon status quo ante of mistrusting all French designs, a spirit of the age which, as late as July 1934, the Times epitomised with its forecast, "In the years that are coming, there is more reason to fear for Germany than to fear Germany." It was the vision of the huge French army, still presumptively the most powerful in the world, constantly poised over European affairs, which alarmed Britons, among whom, in praising it, Winston Churchill stood for only a dissident minority. But as Hitler began to make it abundantly plain that he would not rest until the Diktat of Versailles was overthrown and Germany returned to her former ascendancy, what, in fact, was the state of the French army? Was it still the superlative weapon of 1919? The influences of Verdun. The training and morale of an army, and even its weapons, are transient factors that can alter the balance between opposing forces within the course of one campaigning season. It is the more immutable matters of doctrine and fundamental strategy that require to be considered here. That a victorious army should, in its subsequent peacetime development, be strongly influenced by the experiences of the past war is a historical platitude, and only too natural. But, to quote Frederick the Great, "Experience is useless unless the right conclusions are drawn from it." France having borne so much of the brunt of the fighting on the Western Front, the experience there came to weigh with particular gravity upon French military minds.